It was the year 1904 when anti-Semitism had reached a new peak, when Tsarist pogroms in Kiev, Russia had devastated the Jews, convincing them to leave their homes. With no place to go, these Jews decided to turn to Palestine as their new home and escape their oppressors. 40,000 Jews, mostly young men and women inspired by socialist ideals, came to Palestine from Russia, Poland, and Yemen. The failure of the First Aliyah left Palestine almost as unworked and undeveloped as it was years before. But the Second Aliyah was different. The immigrants were inspired and driven. They had a conscience and consistent national identity, and were ready to lay the foundation of a workers' commonwealth in Palestine. Because of the unproductiveness of the First Aliyah, the only jobs offered were farming ones. However, the Arabs were dominating Palestine in this market with their cheap labor. Additionally, the owners of the farms didn't like the immigrants' socialist beliefs because it meant that the immigrants wanted to progress and eventually own these farms and become equals, which goes directly against the original farm owners' beliefs. Therefore, the owners rarely hired Jewish immigrants, leaving these immigrants with almost no jobs. Because of the lack of occupational opportunities, these Jews decided that they needed to work together to survive. They pooled their money together, gave each other emotional support, and worked with each other on construction and farming jobs. These farming jobs gave small commissions to their workers and had terrible working conditions. In 1907, Manya Shochat, an exceptional pioneer, and 17 other young pioneers convinced the director of the PICA's training farm at Sajera, known for its terrible working conditions, to let them operate a farm by themselves. They established a kibbutz and worked day and night to keep up the farm. This experiment turned into a success, the farm surpassing its goals. This way of life left an impression on a large group of immigrants who, with the help of Arthur Rubin, the father of sociology and the founder of the city of Tel Aviv, acquired land to build a kibbutz. This new group tried to replicate the success of Manya's group, but they failed. A couple years later, a group who became famously known as Degania, meaning cornflower, moved onto the land and made it into a success. Degania established a communal farm that developed a society with complete social equality, a milestone for this time. This new bond between everyone made the immigrants feel that they needed a new way to represent themselves within Palestinian politics. Poale Zion, the first political party in Palestine, as well as a very Marxist party, just wasn't working in their favor. With the help of a man named Adi Gordon, they created the labor Zionist movement called Hapoel Hatzair. This labor movement became increasingly popular among the members of the Second Aliyah because they felt that the only true way to connect with the land of Israel was through working the land. This led to a new boom of secular messianism. Another major achievement of the Second Aliyah started in the year 1914 when Palestinian Jews implemented Eliezer ben Yehuda's modernized Hebrew language as the vernacular. Many Palestinian schools taught using Hebrew as the secondary language and sometimes even the primary language. This language adjustment was of great difficulty for the immigrants of the Second Aliyah, but they were able to form a solid foundation for the Hebrew language in Palestine. This is evident in the 1916 census, which indicated that 40% of the Yeshuv's population spoke Hebrew as their first language. Lastly, many farms in kibbutzim had been employing Arabs for protection. A couple of Jewish immigrants got together and decided that having to rely on the Arabs for protection may end badly for the Jews, and that the Jews must create their own group of watchmen, which was eventually established and named the Bar Giora Group. In 1909, as the small group's business grew, the group realized that Bar Giora wasn't going to cut it anymore. A man named Shochat and his friends rebuilt the group and made it exclusive, only allowing the best of the best to become members. The new Bar Giora Group was then renamed Hashomer. Hashomer's client list grew immensely, and the members of Hashomer were just a call away if danger ever came close. But eventually, the demand for Hashomer became too large, and so Palestine decided that farms should be able to bear arms in order to protect themselves. Bar Giora and Hashomer aren't just seen as the basis for Palestine's protection detail. They changed the image of Jews who were believed to be unable to protect themselves, but could now stand up for themselves. The Second Aliyah was filled with many obstacles, but the immigrants were able to push through. Although almost 80% of the Jews that came to Palestine at this time left almost immediately because of Palestine's unstable economy and absorption difficulties, those who stayed laid the foundation for modern Israel's prominent future.